What's good, A2D family? What's good, MoneyPot podcast members? What's good, Money team? We are back for another episode of MoneyPot podcast, and we're switching it up today for y'all. We're gonna be talking fantasy. I got the gurus with me. We talking top 10 QBs. We talking top 10 RBs. We talking top 10 receivers. We talking betting strategies, stories. We got it all. Give this a listen. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a motherfucking fucking friend. Let's go.
Come on, man. Yo, Money Pop about to start.
I know, I'm coming, man.
Yeah, grab your notepad, man, for real.
Alright, dog, fuck it, man. Come on.
Yeah, man, they be spitting shit, man.
True.
Yeah.
Sorry, dog. Let's go.
Money Pop, money talk. All they do is talk facts. Bird gang. All they do is talk stats. 360 on the new view. Go run, tell that. 40-yard dash time. Moss Money Podcast time. S.co headline.
And we are live. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on another episode of Money Pop Podcast. And you can see the crew's a little bit different today, man. New faces and new places. We got my man Willie Vegas down with the coffee. I can feel that. What's up, bro?
What's going on, everybody?
You know what I mean?
Ready to
And
talk some fantasy. Ready to talk some fantasy.
I know you are, because you jumped on the pod ready for it. So I know you're ready to go. And my guy to my left, man, Jake, man, what's up, man? I haven't got a chance to jump on a pod with you, man, so this should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited.
Nice. So
Jake,
typically
how are you,
what we
brother?
do.
Good.
So typically what we do, man, is we talk about the betting plays that we have. We talk about the membership because those guys are paid. And make sure you actually go ahead and join. There's a link in the bio. $9.99, not $9.99 a week, not $9.99 bi-weekly. I'm talking $9.99 a month. You don't see those numbers. You don't see those prices. You see all the handicappers talking about $50 a daily play, whale, shark play, whatever the hell they all say. You've heard it a million times, man, but $9.99, I've been proving it, and I'm showing you the plays. I'm now showing you the plays that you're not the only one in the game. So I just want to make sure y'all go ahead and check that out, man. A little bit of tough day yesterday, but if you played it perfectly, right? If you played it perfectly and you didn't play with the long shot parlays I put out there, and that's why they're long shots, because they're hard to hit. But if you played it perfectly, you actually would be up probably 2 units right now. So just real quick, we went 2 for 2 on the straight plays, but the one straight play was a 2-to-1 straight play, the battle to get the sub and KO. So that actually hit. I missed on the 2-team parlay. The Chicho lost outright. He was a 3-to-1 favorite, fucking nut. And then we had a 3-team parlay that should have hit. Maradov was a 6.5-1 favorite, minus 620, and lost outright. But on that play, if you hedged it, if you listened to a couple episodes from before, if you hedged the play, right, the dog was plus 350. You actually would have came out if you would have put $50 on it, So these are all based on unit plays, and remember, a unit is $100. And then I lost on the 2-team teamer, Brewers and West Ham. So if you played it perfectly, you would actually be up going into Sunday. We swept last Sunday with a couple of extra bucks in your pocket. But if you didn't, you kind of mixed and matched and stuff like that. Hopefully you did a little bit better than I mixed it up, and you could be up. But as you boys see, man, I was hot coming in today. So yesterday during the week I was posting the plays. I was coming in hot, man. 8, 9, 9-1 on all the plays. Usually we talk about go round table about if you guys bet anything during the week, man. So Willie Vegas, man, the name speaks for itself, man. What you do this weekend, man? Any plays, any bets? Fantasy DFS, talk to him.
I play MLB DFS every day.
Right.
Like I really do every day. I'll be playing NFL every Sunday, and I'll be giving plays out. But the MLB, I do stacks. I stack teams, stack hitters, and it works sometimes. But
Right.
actually, I had a good day yesterday, and I didn't put plays out. I'm pretty upset about that. But during baseball, I just do some parlays, like 3-team parlays. I've hit one in the last week, but if you hit one, it usually pays for the week. So
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
You know, I only put like $20 on them usually to win like around 150, somewhere in that area. So yeah, I got one for today that I'll throw out later when we're putting bets out.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully it hits.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I like that because the one thing that you said there, you only put $20 on there, you're living in your bankroll. And I like that because I think that's very important. People start going, oh, speaking of bankrolls, motherfucker, I don't know if you boys are poker players. Parks bad beat hit last night.
Really?
Yeah.
I did it.
Parks bad beat hit like $560,000.
Jesus. What do you got to have a 4 of a kind and lose?
Yeah, 4 of a kind and lose. So
could you imagine getting a 4 of a kind and then you're like, oh my God, I lose the pot, but I hit the bad beats? Oh.
Yeah, crazy last night. So I think the winner walked away with 225 grand. The loser of the hand walked away with 225 grand. The winner of the hand walked away with like 100 grand. Just to be at the table, 40 grand.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's great. That's even better. I'm having a shit day, but I'm at the right table.
Yes. And I saw it on the gram. I'll get it over to Ryan to put it up, or I'll do it myself. The guy was yelling, "I'm calling my boss tomorrow. He's quitting, walking off the job, calling my boss tomorrow to get off the job." I love it, man. But Jake, we're going to you, man. What's up, man? Any plays this week? How'd you do? Anything, betting, DFS, et cetera, et cetera.
Mainly just parlays, nothing too crazy. I've really been kind of diving into NFL a little bit, kind of like future bets to potential division winners and stuff like that. This is my bread and butter as far as gambling goes when the NFL season starts. So I've kind of just been doing my research and kind of diving into that.
Nice. Got any gems for the people, man? Give them some. Give them a gem. Just give them a little taste. What you got? You got anything? Are you still looking? You still looking at division?
I'm still looking right now. I'm still looking.
Okay. All right. That's no
DK
good.
Metcalf, most receiving yards.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I got a feeling.
Yeah.
I got a feeling.
All right. While we on that, let's. I'm looking.
I just saw some breaking news, by the way.
Oh, you're talking about
JK out for the year.
Yeah.
I have a keeper league where I'm still going to keep him probably because he's that young, but I'm still upset.
Yeah.
I loved him this year too. He's a sneak peek. He's in my top 10 as number 10 because I loved him this year. Damn it.
Yeah, I saw that. There was people posting all kind of crazy with that because they were drafting at the same time that he got hurt.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
It was just brutal. It was brutal for a couple people, man. And to go with your play right here, plus 1,300 for DK Metcalf to have the most receiving yards for 2021.
Yeah, I wouldn't put a ton of money on it, but it's a good hit.
No. Put a 10 spot on there.
Yeah,
absolutely. Quick 130. Quick buck 30.
Yeah, bet small, win big, baby. You know the game.
Ow, all day.
You know what I mean? So let's get into the poll question real quick while I'm looking up something else. Poll question is: will Jalen Hurts be a top 15 quarterback? Agree or disagree? I'm actually going to agree with this. I'm not a Jalen Hurts fan. I've said many times before, and I get flack for it all the time, that Flacco's going to start by week 6. Then we got Minshew in the town as well. But I actually think if Jalen Hurts can play all 17 games now, I think he will be a top 15 game, and it's specifically because of his legs, right? He's going to score a lot of touchdowns. I think we had a prop bet. I think it was one of the best prop bets we put out in a while. Jalen Hurts over rushing yards was like 560 or something like that. And I feel like that's really low for 17 games.
That is
really low for him. For he's a running quarterback, a running first. He's going to. I mean, Tannehill had 7 rushing touchdowns last year with Henry on that team. So I believe that. I believe he'll definitely be a top 15 fantasy quarterback, all because of his legs. He'll get in his zone a couple times, and he might surprise us with his arm. We already know that the Deshaun Watson train has left far away. He's not coming here, so let it go. I was hoping. I was one of those folks that was hoping. I would have gave up 3 first rounds for him. I think he's just that talented of a player. He's in his prime, and he makes this offense not only a division winner, but possibly a deep playoff running team. So I think his talent is that high. So I would have pulled the trigger, but it seems like he doesn't want to be here. And I want to think that because he looks over here and, Hurts is already here. Why take this man's job? I think there's a little part of that brotherhood part of it behind it as well. So, I'll go to you, Jacob, man. What's up, man? Jalen Hurts will be a top 15 quarterback in 2021. Agree or disagree, bro?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Just because, like you touched on earlier, Nate, just because of his running ability in and of itself, I think that's going to be a hell of a thing. Now, again, I'm not going to compare him to Lamar Jackson, but you see the impact that Lamar had with his legs in the first couple years.
Yep.
To where now this year might be a bit of an issue for Lamar because, like, usually in his third year, they kind of start to figure you out a little bit and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's a good point. But with Jalen Hurts, he's still a baby in this league, so the teams haven't figured him out yet and stuff like that. But I think he can surprise people, and with Deshaun Watson not being here, all your eggs are in that basket now. So
for sure. So let me, Wilson, before I jump to you and you give me an answer to the poll question, I'm going to just read off the top 10 rankings right now. These are the most updated rankings from ESPN PPR League. Only PPR. If you do a non-PPR, go follow somebody else. We got Mahomes 1, obvious. Josh Allen 2. We got Kyle Murray 3. We got Prescott 4. Lamar 5. Wilson 6. Rodgers is 7. Herbert is 8. Brady's 9. And they actually have Jalen Hurts as a top 10 fantasy non-PPR quarterback in the NFL for this upcoming year for fantasy football. Willie Vegas, man, talk to me.
Yeah, I don't have him.
Top 15?
I think he can be top 15. I'll say that. I think he can be top 15. And I do agree with you that a lot of it.
Disagree, Willie. Agree to disagree.
I know. I do agree that a lot of it will be on his legs, which will propel him to possibly the top 15. I just think it's going to be. We do have weapons though, which I will say. I know we're young. We're very young, but there is some weapons for him. So,
yes, sir.
and usually, like you said, Jake mentioned it. Teams sometimes struggle to figure guys out, especially the guys that can run around and make a lot of plays early on. Usually, once they get banged up or once the team starts realizing how to play them, they don't play as well. But maybe we'll catch lightning in a bottle early because we got a tough schedule early. So maybe we catch lightning in a bottle early and he plays really well. That could happen. Yep. I think he's right around 15. I'm not saying he's way past 15. I think he's right around there. I'm going to disagree because you guys both agreed, but I think he definitely can be if he plays well, and the opportunity for him to play well is there.
For sure. Yeah, it's definitely it's obviously his job. Everybody was kind of up Frank that, Sirianni didn't come out and name him the starter and give him confidence and all that shit. I'd
rather him work for it too, but I think he knew it was his anyway,
Yeah, he knew it was his. He knew it was his anyway. He's doing all the right things behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. So we'll see if it equals what we want to see on the field.
Yeah, a hard worker, always been a hard worker. Hard worker at Oklahoma, hard worker at Alabama. Always been a great kid. So I hope he's great. I just question the arm talent. That's all.
Yeah, no. Hard work.
Everything else I love.
Hard work only gets you so far in this league. Exactly. There's a lot of hard workers, and there's a lot of people who have talent that don't work hard. It's got to It's got to mesh. It's got to match. So and then he could still be a top 15 quarterback, and the Eagles suck. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean?
Guess what? There's probably a better chance of him being top 15 if we're bad, because they're going to throw the ball more. That's just the way the league is. Yeah. So if we're good, he might not be top 15 because we're probably running the ball a bunch.
Yeah, that's a good point. For sure. So if you're out there, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all the above, man, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification button, man. Answer the poll question. We're going to move more deep into some more fantasy, but I will always stop back and make sure we get to the members and the fans out there. Jalen Hurts will be a top 15 quarterback in 2021, man. Agree to disagree, let me know. I saw Tom on here, man, talking shit, man. Tom always coming on talking shit, man.
That's all Tom does.
Yeah, man. First time.
I told him I was going on. He's like, did I approve that? I said, I was unaware. I needed your approval.
Yeah, man. Tom, sit back, man. Get some popcorn and watch the goddamn show, man. Every time he texts me,
he's been that same guy since he was 14. So I know him. I know him well.
All right, man. Let's get into how people bet fantasy. Is it skill or luck? And then how to invest in fantasy, man. So for those who are new to fantasy or just want to know different ways of betting fantasy, obviously the two popular ways to bet fantasy, best apps right now is usually DraftKings or FanDuel. Usually have the classic type of non-player lineup. You got your quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a flex, a defense, and a tight end. So I saw on there today, I was looking up because I was doing some recon for the show. I didn't know they added the snake draft to DraftKings. Was that there last year? Or is that new this year?
It may have been there last year,
Yeah,
but I know they've been pushing it this year. I see it. It pops up on my DraftKings every day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now, and you obviously have the other apps, right? What most people are used to, your ESPN, your Yahoo's, CBS Sports. That's usually the one that you got to pay for. But with this one, you can actually do it on DraftKings and FanDuel, which I actually really like. I looked on there. There was a couple leagues up there. There was one $50 league that had, I think, like 9 members in there. So they're waiting for everybody to, join. Saw a couple $1,000 leagues in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's some big ones in there, actually. And you can join anybody's league. You don't even have to know the people. You can just join in. You just got to pay.
Right. So I kind of really like that. I always thought that was good because, you get into the thing. Your boy has the money. You can't, people waiting to get paid. And when the championship comes, what time is that? That's holiday, Christmas time.
Always.
Always.
Yep.
And it's always funny with money around those times. And you can't deal with people like that, man. So I know you boys are in a lot of leagues, have been in a lot of leagues. So, Willie Vegas, man, how many leagues are you in this year? All PPR, I'm assuming. Talk about
3. I'm in 3.
Okay.
We do half point PPR, but yeah, PPR.
Did you guys have your drafts already or no?
No, not yet.
No,
none of them. We always push and wait, just because, like you were talking about with the J.K. Dobbins thing yesterday. We don't want to have that happen. We did draft early one year, and Julian Edelman got hurt while we were drafting, and I think someone had already taken him. So that it's it's terrible. But we usually try to do it Labor Day weekend. So I got one on Labor Day, I got one that Sunday, and one that Saturday. So 3 in a row. So my third one will probably be my best, and my first will probably be the worst. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
But so we did. One's a keeper league for me, so I already kind of know of 4 guys on my team.
Yep.
And I'm going to keep J.K. Dobbins, even though he's going to be out for the year. But I want him for next year. So,
what up, B Daily, man? Thanks for jumping on, man.
And I heard you talking about how to bet fantasy, and so for like the daily fantasy, what I always try to tell people, this is like the formula that I use for NFL is. I usually attack a QB, right? And then his best receiver.
You stack them, yeah.
Right, yep. And then I usually will stack like the third receiver on that team. Or like somebody really cheap that maybe catches a touchy and 70. Usually like, they have a huge game. Yeah. Maybe like a Michael Gallup if you got Dallas. Somebody that could catch, that's going to be cheap, that's going to catch us some balls. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to take whoever they're playing, I'm going to take their top receiver or their number 2, one of the 2.
Yeah.
Because usually if it's a shootout, the other team's going to be throwing the ball too, So that's like kind of how I try to implore it. And then obviously you got to hit the top back of the week, basically. Whoever you think is going to be the top running back of the week, you got to hit that. And then after that, you can kind of scramble and hit some like low money plays, obviously.
Yeah. No, I like it. Jake, what's up with you, man? Do you how do you typically bet fantasy? Is it more like the classic style with ESPN, with your boys, your business peers, you always got to have an office pool going.
Yeah.
Or is it just, the randoms, that you do like the daily lineups on Sunday?
I'll typically do like usually as far as like fantasy goes with my buddies. I'll occasionally do like a random pool with like a random group of people if I feel like putting like some serious money down. Because usually when it comes to when you're doing big money leagues with your friends, there's always that one guy in the group that doesn't pay or he's always late with paying. So I'm like, I'm not gonna bother with that.
For sure.
But when it comes to daily fantasy, as far as that goes, like I with me, I tend to do like touchdown parlays, like player touchdown parlays.
Okay.
So that's usually my go-to. So when it comes to that, I usually look into like what type of defense they're playing against and
break it
their
down.
numbers. Yeah, that's usually what I look into.
Nice. So
I like that touchdown parlay. Sorry to cut you
Yeah, I
off.
do.
I do too.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I like
and DraftKings. So I've never used FanDuel. I have it downloaded, but I've never used
I
it. But I've
never-
always used
I
DraftKings.
always use DraftKings too. I never use FanDuel.
And DraftKings just got the same game parlays. So now I'm getting a little excited for NFL because I'm gonna throw a couple same game parlays out there.
Yeah.
Get on this little train because I know everybody loves the same game parlay train.
Everybody
And I
loves
see people
parlay.
hitting bets. I see people hitting bets. I'm like,
here
I
you
gotta
There
hop
you
on
go.
this fucker.
There you
I
go,
gotta get
man.
on it. And
Yeah.
I feel like I'm left out.
There you go.
I'm the typical degenerate. I feel left out.
Yes.
I gotta get on.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I love it. I love it because and it's funny because when we talk about the history of betting, we talk about sports betting in general. The best sports bettors in the world have always been straight bettors. There's never been a parlay better. But average Joe, bet small, win big. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of people see. And a lot of people see a lot of these big parlays. Like I've seen a guy hit $100,000 on parlay. You know what I mean? And it's just like crazy. And then like once you hit that type of money like that on a parlay, you'll never not do a parlay. You'll always live in a parlay.
You have one a day probably.
Yeah. And it's just and if you think about it, it's always that thing. Just like the membership plays. I missed 2 parlays by 1. Right? And it's always, and they were heavy favorites to win. Wasn't like it was a dog, right?
Yeah.
The one was
parlays are so hard to hit.
They're so
And
and not
anything
even
that's
hard to
over a
hit.
3 leg. Anything over a 3 leg,
Absolutely.
if you hit it, congratulations.
And it's being consistent. Like if you look at all the membership plays for all my members out there, if you look at all the parlays that I've put out there, we've been consistent in the straight plays and we've been consistent in the 2-team parlays, maybe hit a 3-team parlay. Out of the weeks I've been doing it, probably like 7 weeks, I think, 2 times a week, 14 different days of plays. I've maybe hit a 5-team parlay maybe twice. And I'm saying maybe. I know I hit once because I was hyped and I was talking my shit.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But maybe twice. Or I parlayed a hedge. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Like I parlayed to get to the point to the 1 because I don't want to leave it on the 1 because you've done it. Jake, you've done it. Everybody watching has done it. We've all been there. That one game that doesn't fall through, right? Mm-hmm. So I always typically hedge, and it took me a long time to figure that out, to hedge. But going kind of circling back to what you were saying, love the same game day parlays. I think they're going to be big this year.
Yeah, they
are. What you said about the fantasy with DraftKings and FanDuel, and the one thing that I like to do is I like to do the smaller ones. Everybody does the $25 for $1 million one. You know,
I don't do them either. I do the $4 ones.
Yeah.
Where it's like only 20 entry max. I like doing because the other guys do 150 and they just have an algorithm that pumps 150 of them out and they have every fucking guy. So it's like I do the 120 entry max or single entry max, which I love. You know,
or
that's the ones where it's I mean, there's like a ton of people in it, but you can only put 1 entry in. So I look for them. I look for them ones.
I think, and that's what I was getting to because I think that's a good investment. If you're investing in fantasy football, you make sure you always we talk about it every show. Bankroll management. Got to understand and manage your bankroll management. But if you're doing fantasy and you're doing daily fantasy every Sunday with football, I would implore you, don't go for the home run shot trying to hit $1 million. You're going against not only these experts, so-called experts, you're going against algorithms, you're going against computers. You're going against everything under the sun for them to get an edge and to win money. Stay in your lane. Get in the edge. I was good at fantasy because I typically played with people who didn't know fantasy well. And that was my edge. You know what I mean? People say, hey, well, it's, how you call yourself MoneyPot. Hey, motherfucker. It's about winning money at the end of the day. And if I can find an edge to win money at the end of the day, what am I going to do? I'm going to stay in my lane and hit and hit and hit. Because these boys be talking.
You gotta find a sucker in the room, like they always say. You gotta find a sucker in the room. Come on now.
Yeah.
And like you said, the $1 million maker, that sounds great. You know, you want to throw one in there a week, okay. But if you're trying to load up on that, you're never going to hit. You literally have to have the best possible lineup, and it's almost impossible to do it because they all do it with the algorithm.
Yep. And like you think you'd be doing hot. Like I be seeing my texts, oh my fantasy blowing up, but you win like $40,
$50,
$50,
60 maybe.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because you don't have the guy that was 2,800, second cheapest play that had 2 touchdowns. 3 catches for 12 yards and 2 touchdowns that this guy fucking had in for some reason.
Right. Yeah. I don't do it too much, and I like to do the head-to-heads, and I like to do the smaller ones when you only have one. So that's a great gem, Wilson. Great gem. So let's deep dive into each category of fantasy, and then we'll kind of circle back on some more gems and some more tidbits here about doing fantasy and strategies and investings, et cetera. So let's go to the quarterbacks. Jake, I'm gonna go with you, man. I'm gonna read you off this year's updated. Well, I already did that updated quarterback list because we were talking about Jalen Hurts earlier. And just to kind of circle back around with that, anybody missing or anybody got higher, lower, maybe a breakout guy, dark horse? Give me some gems for the folks for the these quarterback rankings, and what are you seeing this year, and how you go about kind of getting ready for your drafts if you have any coming up.
Yeah, well, when it comes to the fantasy quarterbacks, I always go for a mobile quarterback. That's just me because those rushing yards are so important.
Yeah,
they can either win you or lose you a game. So
for sure.
Jalen Hurts, obviously, like you said, he's in the top 10 as far as fantasy goes, for sure. Russell Wilson, he doesn't run as much as he used to, but he's still a mobile quarterback. Lamar Jackson, that's an obvious go-to. Yeah, that's mainly where I go as far as quarterbacks go. I like the mobile quarterbacks.
Okay, and I'm assuming you get those kind of deep. Like in this year's draft, I'm not sure if you guys have done a lot of mocks already, just to get a sense of how people are drafting and where people are falling to. Where's Hurts even going in the draft right now?
I've seen him go as far as like the 7th to 9th round.
I was gonna guess 7 to 10. I would guess 7th to 10th round.
That's crazy value for somebody who's gonna be a top 10 quarterback. Well, actually, no. How early do you guys draft? Like, here's a great strategy when you guys draft. Are you the running back, receiver, running back, quarterback? You want the stack. Willie Vegas, I'll let you ride with this one.
All
man.
right, so
yeah, what's your strategy?
To me, it depends on what's happening in front of you, because you can't just implore the strategy. You got to go with you got to change with what's happening, because guys pick wild. I'm sure everyone's been in weird where you're like, that guy just went right there. What the fuck is going on? But
right.
so you got to change on the fly. But if I can't get, like, for instance, to me, the top 3 QBs right now: Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak, just because I think they're going to put up monster numbers this year, all 3 of them. So if I can't get one,
Dak right there,
I just think that the Cowboys are so loaded that how can he? And then right after them is like Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar. They're all in like that next bubble after them. But those 3 I think are the top. And if I can't get one of them 3, right, I'm not going to take a QB in probably the first 3 rounds. And I'm going to go either running back, receiver, running back, running back. I'm going to go 2 of the 3, just depending on who's available and who I like more.
Yeah.
But that's, and then, so if I can't get one of those first 3 QBs, I'm going to go definitely either 2 running backs and a receiver, or 2 receivers and a running back in the first 3. And then I'll start looking at quarterback again.
So
and then I'm getting to the second tier.
First 3 rounds?
I would probably only take Mahomes, Allen, or Dak in the first 3 rounds. And I would be like 2nd or 3rd round for me.
Okay. And then and Jake, I'll go right back to you. In your league, is it quarterback 6 points or 4 points for a touchdown?
It's 6.
It is 6.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's 6.
Then you can go first round for a QB if it's 6.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm assuming yours.
I'm 4.
You're 4.
4, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So because I think that's big, right? Because I'm looking at the touchdown total.
Rushing TDs are 6 though. So like you said, the rushing QB, I mean, that does really help.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm looking at the touchdowns, and Rodgers is way ahead of everybody with 48 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, I have Aaron higher than, I think when you read the list, they had Rodgers at like 8. They always do that. They always overhype some young guys over him. I still think Aaron Rodgers, you're very safe with him at the 4th or 5th best QB.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, for sure. All right, so we got I'm looking. So last year with the scoring leaders, PPR, top 3 was Allen, Rodgers, and Murray. And then, top 4, they all had over. Well, actually, I'm gonna go top 5 because they're all sitting at about 370 points in this order: Allen, Rodgers, Murray, Mahomes, Watson. and then you have the second kind of tier, not too much of a fall off, but Wilson, Tannehill, and then Brady, and then Herbert. But if you look at how the points are kind of mixed up, Allen almost had 400 points last year, breakout year, MVP type level year. I actually thought he should have got the MVP in my opinion, but
He played great. Yeah,
Yeah,
he played amazing.
I think he's going to play just as well this year. He's a stud.
Yeah, no, he is a stud. But like Tannehill, I'm looking at Tannehill's number. He had 7 rushing touchdowns last year. Does he do that again? That's a lot. I feel like
probably not.
That's a lot.
I would think that he won't be a top 10 QB this year in fantasy. I know last year he was. I think he wouldn't. I think the 7 rushing touchdowns put him in the top 10 last year.
Right. But I think the one thing that people need to understand when they're doing fantasy, you're looking at strategies. You win fantasy in the late rounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because everyone gets hurt.
Yeah, right. And you have to, and injuries are a part of the game. They just are. And that's where the luck factor kind of comes in. It's going to be a long grind this year. 17 games. They've never done it before. They tried to take the preseason away for the one game, give the guys 2 weeks to heal up, which I think is kind of stupid because
they claim that they care about the fucking players' health, but they're going to add games and make them play on Thursday. It's an absolute. I don't want to get into this right now, but it's an absolute joke.
Right. But I'm looking at the top 10, and right outside of the top 10, who had some value here in the quarterback. Kirk Cousins was a 11 scoring QB last year. I doubt Kirk Cousins is even getting drafted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Another thing to say is if you're in a league like that where you want to go heavy running back receiver, you can wait on QB because once you get past the top 5, they all score about the same amount of points. Now they might have a game where they're not going to be the stud that every game you can get 25 from. They might have a game where they get 7 or 8, but they'll still have a couple 35s in there. You know, like they're gonna get their points.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I'm looking at. Like everybody's looking at it, like I said, the top tier, which makes sense, right? If I used to be on the big thing, like, yo, you took a quarterback in the second round. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's terrible. But if he ends up being the best quarterback in fantasy, it was a good call at that point.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It was a great call at that point. So I'm looking at right now I'm looking at NFL.com and I'm looking at these fantasy scoring leaders, and I'm seeing some value here, man. So for those who are looking, taking some notes, already getting ready and gearing up in a week for their fantasy draft. Herbert, obviously, I think Willie Vegas, you talked about that in the membership.
I like him a lot going on.
Yeah, Herbert. And Kirk Cousins, man, I don't see why Kirk Cousins would fall out too much of top 15, who's not even getting drafted more than likely.
Or
like he's a backup on someone's team, basically.
Yeah,
someone already has a QB, they're picking him as a backup.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Stafford was 16, but you got to think Stafford's going to be in the top 10 this year with that offense.
Yeah, I was going to say I would think that Matt has a good year.
Yeah, I think so too. Stafford, I don't know. Derek Carr had a decent year last year, over 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns. Only 9.
And he's got weapons. Mean, they're probably hoping that Ruggs breaks out.
For sure.
I love Waller. He's gonna. I mean, that's a guy that's gonna go pretty high. I would assume Darren Waller because he just gets balls, man.
Yeah. All right, let's switch it up to running backs, man. PPR league running back. We're gonna go top 10 real quick here, and we're gonna do the same thing, man. We're gonna talk about obviously your top heavy, and then what are some gems, some breakout guys that we're looking at on the bottom half, and getting more into those running back strategies and handcuffs with running backs.
That is
so important
to me. Absolutely, hand to God. The handcuff is so necessary.
Right. All right, top 10. Right now, we got CMC, which I'm not sure I would put him 1. I know what he is. I know how great he is. But coming off the injury, to label him number 1, I'm not sure. Maybe top 3? But naming him number 1, I'm not sure. But I wouldn't be mad if he's the first pick off the board, though. Dalvin Cook is 2. Kamara is 3. Henry's 4. Zeke is 5. We got Barkley coming in 6. Eckler at 7, JTT at 8, Aaron Jones at 9, and Nick Chubb at 10. And then coming last year, the top scoring running backs in the league was Kamara, Cook, Henry, Montgomery from Chicago. For
Mhm.
those who don't know that
He
name,
gets slept on, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
Jones, Taylor, Robinson. I remember he was a late pickup the way he was going. Josh Jacobs, Zeke was 9, and then believe it or not, Kareem Hunt was a better
Kareem Hunt
fantasy
scored a bunch of touchdowns.
receiving was his thing.
Yeah, and that I like the way that Cleveland uses both of them. Even though I have Chubb in my keeper league and I'm keeping him again, I still like the way that Cleveland uses both those running backs. They're both very valuable in fantasy.
Yeah, I agree. And then you got Chubb on 11. So Jake, man, let me run back to you, man. Looking at the running backs, man, who you got in your running backs? Let's go. Is there any kind of big switch to that top 10 there that you got? Somebody a little bit lower, somebody a little bit higher. How you feel?
The one that stood out.
Strategy. My fault. Talk about your strategy about how you draft with your running backs.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about PPR league, right? You always look for the pass catching running backs. Obviously, that's usually the go-to when you're drafting high as far as running backs go. But one name you mentioned, Nick Chubb, at where did you say he was? Number 10?
9,
Chubb,
I think he said.
10. Chubb is 10. Last year he was 11th in scoring.
Yeah, it just seems low to me.
Yeah, he was banged up last year. If he's healthy, he could be a top 5 guy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Even with Hunt though, like how they
Hunt still could be a top 10 guy.
Yeah, he absolutely could.
That Cleveland team, I mean, we know what their strategy is. They like to run you. They like to throw to their backs, especially Hunt, and they like to run the ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they should, because Baker, I like Baker, but Baker's not coming out there and throwing 40 times.
No. They're going to need him to in one game, though. So,
yeah, they might have to a couple times, but for the most part, they're trying to run the ball.
Yeah, for sure. Run the ball, play defense. Easy.
That's why. I have Chubb higher than Zeke. I know it could be a really good year for Zeke, but Zeke's been trending downward. He's getting older, and Dak's been trending upward. And they have 3 really good receivers. I expect them to throw the ball a ton. I think Zeke might have a lot of touchdowns, but I think his carries and yards will be down.
Yeah,
and let's not forget Pollard is legit.
Yeah, it's very solid.
Yeah, Pollard.
He'll get some time.
Slept on.
He will get some time. Well, sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, but when you talk about Tony Pollard, that's a running back that's been heavily slept on in draft circles this year. I think
very good handcuff. He is.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jake, continuing with you, man, the strategy you do with fantasy, is it running back? Have you ever gone 3 running backs in a row? Because I definitely have.
No, I have not. So with me, like Willie said, it's just really about how your board falls, like your draft position and stuff like that. Because some people, you'll be surprised with some of the players that they take ahead of you if you're especially like a top 5 pick or like a top 10 pick.
Yeah,
depending on the size of your fantasy league, but it really depends on how the board falls. Like with PPR for me, if a pass catching running back like a Kamara or a McCaffrey or a Saquon, for example, aren't available, I'll go wide receiver. There's no doubt in my mind I'll go wide receiver.
Nice. Speaking of Kamara, we didn't even talk about this. Going back to the quarterbacks, I really think that Winston might have a breakout year.
Is he going to start?
He started.
Yeah, he's the starter.
Yeah, he's the starter. Yep. And they all they do is pass in New Orleans. They ain't
Listen, I would fully expect he's going to throw his interceptions, but he's going to throw for yards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He'll
be a very
over 4,000 yards.
Speaking of a guy that's probably not going to be drafted or drafted extremely late, that's a guy that could be great value. Is Jameis Winston?
He's not going to get drafted. He's not going to get drafted. I don't think.
No,
definitely not as a starter. Definitely not as a starter.
Oh, no. Maybe late, but remember he got that eye surgery, right? So now the motherfucker can see. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Looks like we lost Wilson, but now the motherfucker can see. Yeah, he'll be back. So, when you think about that with Winston, and then I think the last time he was a starter, he threw for 5,000 yards.
Yeah, and it was what he threw 30 for 30, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he threw 30 for 30. So
he's been dealing. I know that this fucking StreamYard. I swear to God, it keeps kicking. The last couple weeks, I get kicked out constantly.
Death taxes and Wilson's internet.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's like I have the newest iPhone. Like, what is happening? I gotta go and upgrade my shit and buy some shit, man.
Yeah. Don't buy
I need to hit some bets.
$100,000 phone. Yeah. But yeah, no, man. Yo, Winston. Yeah, Winston. I was looking at that. I don't know where he is on comeback player of the year, all that good stuff. But he's a dark horse, man. Because I mean, Thomas is out, and who knows if Thomas wants to be back. So that's a huge, loss. So you got to look up what's behind Thomas. But at the same time, he's played in a lot of bad teams, and he can sling.
Oh yeah,
he can just sling it. So upgrade if Thomas plays, upgrade if it doesn't. Damn, y'all all get.
And there we go.
StreamYard likes me. If y'all still with us, man, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, all the above, man. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Jake, man, we were talking shit and it looked like it kicked your ass out.
And there we go.
Right.
I just passed it. I just passed it right on over to you.
Right. Hopefully the host doesn't get locked out. So we should be, you know what I mean? All right, so let's Willie Vegas, let's go over to you, man. Talking about running backs.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I think those first four, like I was saying with the three QBs, I think those first four are in a class of their own.
Yeah.
They are, and that's McCaffrey, that's Derrick Henry, that's Dalvin Cook, and that's Alvin Kamara. You can make a case that you could take any of them as the top running back, in my opinion. Yep. You can make a case for it. And I'd be like, well, it makes good points. Like Kamara should see a ton of fucking work this year. You would think. I would think that they would feed the hell out of Kamara this year, and the same thing with Cook, right? And then McCaffrey, obviously, he catches so many balls that you're just like, if you're in a PPR league, how can you not take him one? He catches 9 balls a game.
Yep.
Yeah, Kamara's numbers was crazy. 900 something yards, 16 touchdowns, 80 receiving yards. Almost 800 yards receiving and 5 touches. Monster year last year.
Yeah, he's gonna get the ball thrown to him a ton again this year. You would expect.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with Michael Thomas missing time. Sure.
The thing with Henry is, I feel like if you have a really strong team, then you can make the case for Henry as the first one taken because of the fact that I swear to God, the end of the year, no one tackles the guy. It's like he's worn the defenses down, and he just runs for. I feel like every year in the playoffs, fantasy playoffs, dude runs for 200, and you're like, fuck, if I had him. So that's why, like, I feel like early on, maybe he's going to go for 75, 80 in the touch, but then the end of the season, he's just churning 150s and 2 touches every time, and you're like, this dude is he's just a horse. The bottom line is the dude's a horse, and he just gets stronger as the year goes. So that's why you can run with Henry. But he might not give as many points for you early in the season, which could dig you a hole.
Yeah, and it's crazy with him. I think there was a crazy funny stat that got posted. He's the only player. They said he's the only man on the planet Earth who's had 2,000 yards in Pee Wee, high school, and college, and the NFL. It's just ridiculous. Like, what the hell's wrong?
Yeah, I mean, he's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. He's humongous, and he runs like a fucking gazelle. It's absurd. When he gets into the open field, nobody
catches him. Nobody.
That's what's crazy because like this dude's huge. Like he's humongous. I always think of a picture of him next to little Mark Ingram, and you're like,
oh my god,
fuck! Like Mark Ingram looks terrified. Who is this guy? He's coming to take my lunch.
His breakaway speed, once he gets going,
it's crazy.
It's a train.
Yeah. No one catches him. It's like these are a bunch of small guys on the field that are supposed to be faster than him. Nobody catches him.
And nobody wants to get next to him because they're gonna be on the highlight reel for that.
They just get ran the fuck over. I love the way, like, if you can make a prototypical running back for how I love football, I love the way he runs the football. Get out of my way. Josh Norman's still going from when he pushed him last year. See you, Josh. Pushed him off the planet. Oh, it was spectacular.
All right, let's talk about.
And J.K. Dobbins runs like him. That's why I fucking love J.K. Dobbins. And like, I know we're talking running backs. I had J.K. Dobbins in my top 10.
Yeah.
Obviously, out for the year. We heard the thing. So now I would tell everyone that now big sleeper, it's Edwards. Going to get a lot of carries now.
Yeah.
A lot. Old cousin Gus going to get a lot of carries.
Yeah. I mean, Gus. I'm sorry. I said TJ Edwards. My fault.
Well, they have another kid, too, that I don't really know. I don't know much about him, but now he should be on radars. Tyshawn or something. If someone knows the name, pull it up for me. But I saw it the other day, but he's like a rookie maybe or second-year guy, but I don't even know much about him. But he's on the radar now.
What's going to be running back by committee over there, including you got to put Lamar in there, too. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, Lamar's going to run the ball. You know that.
Yeah. And I think I looked at his prop. His prop was, it's probably going up now with Dobbins out, but his prop for rushing yards was 900.
I would expect. I think that he's going to run for $1,000 this year. I know only person to ever do it was Vic, right?
No, he's done it twice.
Or Vic was really close.
Lamar's done it twice. So Lamar came in.
Has he already run for $1,000? Oh,
yeah,
he's already run for $1,000.
Yeah, he had like 800 in some his first year, and then the next year he exploded for that MVP year. He had 1,200. And then a year after that, he had 1,000.
Okay.
So he's had two back.
Okay, so I expect him to go for $1,000 again.
Yeah.
Especially now without Dobbins.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm looking at these top 5 rankings, right? I'm looking what the scores were last year. We got some entries in there that are not in the top 10 this year again, but we got some old faces and some new faces. We got, what do you guys think about here with Barkley, Eckler, and any sleep?
Eckler's a funny one to me. He's a sneaky. Yeah, you hear that name and you're like, Austin Eckler, really? No way. But he does catch the ball well out of the backfield.
Right. Was he hurt last year though?
Yeah, he was. He was. Okay. To me, Austin Eckler, he can be there. There's other guys I like over him though. And like I said, David Montgomery getting no love. David Montgomery just gets carries, man. They just feed him the rock. I know the little guy's back, right? What the fuck's his name?
Tariq Cohen.
Tariq Cohen is back because he was hurt last year. So he'll steal a little bit. But Tariq Cohen's more like their Swiss Army knife. He gets balls out of the backfield, returns punts, stuff like that. David Montgomery is the one that runs the fucking football. Yeah. So, I expect him to be top 10 again, and no one's putting him there. I would expect that he's got great value this year, David Montgomery.
So I
love Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got JT in there. Thoughts on, Jake, I'll go to you. Thoughts on Barkley. We got some names that we haven't even talked about yet. Mixon, I think. Gibson from Washington. Yeah, you know what I mean? Let's look in our home backyard, man. Nobody said anything about Miles Sanders yet.
Yeah, I would say Miles is just outside the top 10, but he could easily have a top 10 year. Especially if our O-line stays healthy.
Yeah. Yep. Jake, what you think?
And his hands work.
Yeah. I don't know what happened last year. He dropped everything.
Yeah. Then he had a phenomenal rookie year just catching balls. And he caught that laser from Wentz, and I'm not getting into it. It's going to stress me out. But it's going to stress me out.
I mean, football started, college started yesterday. Yeah. It's time to be stressed.
For sure.
Saquon's a funny one.
Is he really?
Because I
think he's going to be top 10.
You know what he is? You know what he is if he's healthy. We all know what he is if he's healthy. But that's the question. Can he stay healthy for the entirety of the season? Because if he stays healthy, he's only gotten hurt 1
year.
That's the question with everybody, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like to take Tom Arnone's comments ever, but he said the injury rate's 100% in the NFL. Everybody gets hurt. Okay, it's coming. It's coming for everybody. Now, you would hope that maybe he got hurt last year. Knock on wood. This he'll avoid injury this year, and if he avoids injury, he's gonna have a good year. You know that they're gonna give him the ball.
No doubt.
Yeah. I agree. I agree as well. Yeah, I think Barkley. I mean, he's at 6 right now, but I
would say he's just outside those top 4 guys that we mentioned. Like that next group, Saquon's definitely in that next group.
I agree.
And he could be in that top 4 group.
For sure.
Like was that 2 years ago? He had a huge year, or like he could definitely be there. It's just all about health for him, obviously, and quarterback play. I think Daniel Jones hurts him.
Yeah, I think Rick Ganone put a good question here, and a good question just for the group in general. Would you risk taking guys on take a risk on Michael Thomas in the mid rounds? But I think it opens up a bigger question too. Like, what about these guys like Michael Thomas? The Deshaun Watsons, all these guys that are on the fringe, holdouts, maybe coming back from injury, et cetera, but they're star players. What do you guys rank those guys?
It's tough, but I still like. That's when you start thinking if you like your roster, right? And you're like, okay, I can take a chance with this guy, and I can maybe shelve him for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and then get him when he comes back. Then bang, I'm always for that. I took Antonio Brown last year. It didn't really work out early, but late he caught a lot of balls.
Yeah, he helped you late.
So So it did work out for me. And to me, like, I have Deshaun Watson as my 10th QB still, just because I know what Deshaun's going to do. I expect him to catch some sort of suspension here, obviously. But I think after he's back, I mean, he's going to. I don't care who he's on, he's going to sling. So I would still take Deshaun. I'm not going to take him high, obviously, but I would take him late. And same thing for Michael Thomas. I would take him too.
Yeah, yeah, I heard that. So while we staying a little bit on the running backs here, Jack, I'll go over to you, man. Anybody late here to give to the people, give to the folks watching? Anybody late here you like as a nice kind of round out that RB3 flex type running back where he's a starter? Anybody you like deep, later in rounds that people are not even looking at or kind of overlooking?
Well, I think Wilson hit it on the head earlier when you're talking about the Ravens running backs. Wilson, to answer your question earlier, the name you're looking for was Tyson Williams. That's what it was.
There you go.
Tyson, however you say
Tyson, yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, Tyson. But I would definitely look at the Ravens running backs. Yeah, Tyson.
I like
big
that.
Name guy.
Yeah,
right. Big name guy. But I would look at the Ravens running back core, to be honest, especially with the young running backs. I mean, Najee Harris, obviously, he's not going to be a guy that slept on. He went.
Everyone loves to take rookies. He'll go too high.
Oh my God, yeah. And I think he'll have a big year too. This is kind of like a shot in the dark, but I could see. Oh my God, I just had his name in my head. I just lost it. He was on the Steelers. Now he's on the Texans. I think.
James Conner.
Yeah, James Conner. I think James Conner could have a good year this year.
He could.
I never liked the way he runs.
Yeah, I respect James Conner. Workhorse guy. He's been a workhorse since he was at Pitt. Obviously had cancer and all that. Big ups to James Conner. But James Conner looks like slow to me. He looks like he's in mud a lot. I don't know.
Never had breakaway speed.
He can catch the ball, give him that. But he just looks like he's in mud. I don't know. I know he had that one big year for the Steelers. I just think everything was working well for him. Because since then, he's been shit. They couldn't run the ball last year. Steelers could not run the football last year.
I like. I'll give you one that I'm looking at right here. Looking at the who bounced around a couple times last year was Melvin Gordon.
Oh, motherfucker! That was my guy. I like it. Everyone sleeps on the veterans. Everyone sleeps on the veterans.
Quiet, almost close to 1,000 yards. Had 9 touchdowns, and he bounced around a lot last year. Had a problem holding on to the chicken. Fumbled. I think he was in top 2. Fumbled 4 or 5 times last year. But that could be a late pick there that could get you in the top 15, top 10, late in the season. Always tough to play at Mile High Stadium, especially late. It's cold, favors that type of running team.
And they have a bunch of weapons. So you would expect him to, I know Teddy's Teddy, whatever. Teddy's
a winner.
Teddy's average. Don't Teddy ain't bad.
A winner. Don't sleep on Teddy.
I don't know. What has Teddy won?
Games. His record is he's won games. I don't care what anybody says. Teddy wins games.
I remember when he had the chance to that awful game that was like 7-6 or whatever, Seattle playoff game in Minnesota.
Oh my God!
He drove all the way down, and the dude missed the chip shot for the win. And then the next year he destroyed his leg. But Teddy, listen, I think Teddy's average, and Teddy will do enough. He'll do enough. Like, he's better than Drew Lock, obviously.
For sure.
He beat Drew Lock out. So, I mean, and they probably wanted Drew Lock to win that competition. Let's be honest. Teddy Bridgewater, old journeyman. Yeah. They wanted Drew Lock to win. No.
Teddy's a vet.
Teddy knows what he's doing. And they have weapons. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, who's Noah Fant. They got weapons.
KJ Hamler.
So to me, Melvin Gordon's in a really good spot to possibly have a very overlooked big year.
Yeah,
that's a guy that could creep top, like you're talking about creeping top 10. When you're not expected to. That's a guy who can creep top 10. Now another guy, James Robinson.
That's
Jacksonville.
Because obviously everyone saw Liz Frank injury to Travis Etienne. So now James Robinson right back in the mix as a workhorse back. And he's going to get carries. I mean, they have a rookie. Obviously, everyone loves Old Sunshine down there. But I'm sure they're going to try to rely on on not throwing the ball a ton for him early. I would expect Robinson to get a lot of
You think
carries.
so? I think they're going to sling it.
You think they're going to sling early right out the gate?
Why not?
I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you. Why not? I mean, Herbert was slinging last year, so you make sense.
Yeah, I don't see.
And I love Justin Herbert this year, by the way. And we didn't really talk that much, but I am a big Justin Herbert guy. I don't know how good the team is. I don't know how good the team is, but I think he's going to sling.
QB1 for you? Is that the first quarterback you're looking at in drafts?
No, well, I mean, I have Mahomes down on Dak, but then in that next sector, if I can't get them first three, I'm trying to move back, and I think you can get Herbert like fifth, sixth, and without people, especially where we are, because like I always said, like it depends where you're drafting. If you're drafting out in like LA and people are big fans, of the Chargers, then obviously they're going to go higher. Like here, Philly guys go higher in drafts because everyone's Philadelphia Eagles fan. So, like, it depends where you're drafting. But I think, like, around here, you can definitely get Herbert, like, the fifth or sixth. And I think he's great value. He could be the fourth best QB this year, maybe the fifth best QB.
Let me shout out to Pete Evans, man. Agreed to the poll, man.
Yeah, what up, Pete?
What's up, Pete?
If where you guys now, you guys already know where your drafts are. Do you guys wait till an hour before to know where you're drafting with the draft, or do you guys already know where you're going to draft? Like,
so I find out tomorrow.
Oh wow, okay.
Because we draft next Monday, so that's Labor Day, and that's two of my drafts. Literally, we have our, I find out like where I'm going to pick tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So you have a whole week, I guess,
to get yourself ready.
And that's a keeper league. So some people try to wheel and deal and trade picks. I don't usually do all that, but some people are crazy.
Yeah. Jake, what about you, man?
Yeah, with me, I usually find out like an hour before, but we did a cool thing this year to where me and a couple of my buddies, we played like beer pong, and on the bottom of the cup, it had the number of where we were picking. So that was cool.
Yeah, that's fun. Live drafts? Well, it's going to be tough this year with COVID and shit popping.
I have one that's live.
Live.
I did a live one. I did a live one on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday.
Oh, you already had a draft?
Yeah, I had a draft on Thursday.
Oh, first, where'd you pick, and what was your first pick?
Let me see. I was 8th. Let me go to my thing real quick.
That's not bad. I like to be on the back end.
So do I.
Tell you what, if I'm not 1 or 2, give me if it's 10 or 12 team, give me 10, give me 12.
Yeah,
I love that back-to-back
pick. Yeah.
Give me that back-to-back.
I believe Stephon Diggs was my first pick.
Plus, it's so much easier when you have the back-to-back in the draft because you're like, 2 picks and I can relax. I don't pick again for 10 minutes.
Right. I know, right? I can't stand on those. Those drafts be taking forever, though. I'm so happy when some people
are just so slow, dude. I'm like, come on, man. How are you not ready to go, dude? How are you not looking at who you want and you're pissed off when someone takes them in front of you? Like, how are we not ready to go? How does it take you the full 2 minutes? Like, time's ticking down, 1 second left. Pick the fucking guy already.
Tom just does that shit to be an asshole. Yeah. I believe it. All right, so we got running backs, man. We looked at running backs. It looks like not a lot of love for rookies. We like David Montgomery, some Miles Sanders love, and then obviously
I do like Najee Harris, by the way. I didn't want to put it out there like I don't like the guy.
Yeah.
I think he could have a very good year. I just think he's typically running backs, rookie running backs, people salivate over them and they go higher than they should. That's all I'm saying. They get the veterans get overlooked for the young guys, and everyone's like, that's the up and comer. Oh, I got the up and comer. I think you can win leagues with veterans.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. All right, let's hit up the receivers. Let me see here.
This is where it can go a bunch of ways, I feel like.
Yeah. And there's so many
receivers. It's a fucking passing league now. There's even obviously we're going top 10. These guys are all super elite. But there's another list of 15 more after these guys that could all have really good years.
Yep.
So what I'm gonna do, because I think we all know who the top 5 are, right? Adams, Hill, Diggs,
Devontae,
yeah. So I'm gonna go with the next tier, because I think all those guys are elite. Maybe some people might agree that DK Metcalf might be in that.
I have him in that this year.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think he's shown that yet, and maybe because Lockett is just as good from a numbers perspective. But the next tier is we'll go with the scoring leaders last year, and then I'll give you the rankings of what they have from 5 and on. So 5 is Ridley, 6 is Justin Jeffries. 7 is Metcalf. 8 is Lockett. 9, surpriser, Allen Robinson. 10 is Thielen.
Okay.
And then right outside of that, which is another group, because like you said, there's so many receivers here.
Yeah.
And I think these names are known and or may go a little bit higher. Is Mike Evans was at 11 last year. AJ Brown was at 12. Keenan Allen, I love Keenan Allen.
Love Keenan Allen this year.
Yeah, at 13 last year. Robert Woods at 14, and Cooper and Juju rounding out 15 and 17.
Bobby Woods is just dependable, man.
Yeah, he is, and he's got
every year he's going to be in the top 15.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yep. All right, so that's the scoring. Now rankings, and remember, y'all, this is PPR, so points per reception. If you didn't know, so last year, that's my fault, wrong one. Here's the rankings. Obviously, top 5 is the same as the scoring was actually last year, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But now they have DK Metcalf at 6, AJ Brown at 7, Keenan at 8, Justin Jeffries at 9, and then Scary Terry McLaurin.
Oh, I love Terry McLaurin this year.
And then outside of the top 10, we go the next kind of group tier. We have Allen Robinson again, CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Robert Woods, Cooper, Thielen, and then didn't get no love last year, Chris Godwin from Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, they just have such a good receiving core. It's just so tough. But yeah, and Brady, like I've said so many times, Brady doesn't even have a muscle left in his body. He's like Gumby out there, just fucking slinging. It's unreal. But they're going to catch balls. It looked like last year that he preferred throwing to Godwin more, and he threw to Evans more in the red zone. So, both of them are good. Are good. Either one, Evans or Godwin. I'll be happy with either one.
So
I do love Terry McLaurin though. I think Terry McLaurin's poised for a huge year. There's a bunch of other guys I really like too. CeeDee Lamb I really like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was going to say that
I think is going to have a huge year.
A lot of times the second year is when the receivers take off, and I just think Dak healthy, he's going to sling. I think CeeDee Lamb's in for a very big year. Yeah.
Yeah, so and I was going to say that we all know these lists, and looking at the scoring last year, the top 5. The big one was Adams, right? Adams and Tariq were
and Adams will have a huge year again if Rodgers is healthy, which he should be.
Yeah, and even looking at Hopkins had 115 catches, 1,400 yards, and 6 touchdowns, and he was still about 60 points away from Diggs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right?
And Diggs should have a monster year again.
Yeah. So when you look at this tier, and we talked about value, right? Value in the mid rounds, back end rounds. Some of these guys are going to go a little higher. So I'm kind of scrolling down, and that second tier, Ridley had 281 yards, and the difference between 5th and 10th place was like Thielen, and Thielen had 254, and Thielen's going what, 5th and back round, even maybe before that, 7, 8 rounds. Somebody's looking at Thielen.
I actually really like Thielen this year. I think maybe defenses are going to shift and cover Jefferson more this year, and Thielen will have more opportunity this year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. So, Jake, let's go with you because Wilson just talks too fucking much.
Ha! That's good. That's a point. I do.
No, I love it. It allows it keeps my voice. You know what I mean? So, Jake, we'll go with you, man. Tell me about some receivers that you heard in that list or what you ever have written down. Somebody that you like a little bit better than what they have in the quote unquote ESPN listing, and then give me some dark horses or some breakout candidates who you really like this year that could kind of seep in the top 10.
I always have a draft crush every year, and my draft crush this year, I said earlier, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, I just think is going to have a massive year just to build off his great rookie season that he had last year.
Right.
Now, some dark horses, I always look at Mike Williams every year. I always look at Mike Williams to have a big year, especially now that Justin Herbert's coming in his second year.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say Michael Pittman, but I don't know yet. I don't know yet with Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman.
Where is Pittman?
I'm so up and down with Michael
New
Pittman.
England? Where's Pittman?
Indianapolis.
Oh, the Colts. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Another one that makes no sense to me. I'm just seeing him being slept on in leagues this year is Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry in all my drafts this year, he's just gone 8th, 9th round. I don't know what it is, but for me, if he goes in your 7th, 8th, 9th round in your drafts, that's great value. That is great
Odell
value.
going very late too.
Yep.
Yeah. It's tough with Odell.
I don't know what to think about Odell, but he's a guy that is boom or bust.
He is.
You know, he could have a very good year, or he could just do nothing.
I think you described them perfectly.
Yeah, there's no in between.
I think there's going to be games where he has like 5 touchdowns. 5 catches, 130, $140, and 2 touches. But there's going to be games where he has 4 catches,
one for 19.
Yeah, like he's going to just completely disappear in certain games. You know what I mean? So I think he is going to be a boom and bust. Actually, a true wide receiver 3, right? He's no longer in that top 2 tiers at all anymore.
Right.
So I definitely agree with that. I'm looking at the back end here. You know, you got your Robbie Andersons, your Marvin Jones. I'm not as high on CD Lamb as you guys are. I'm more high on Cooper than I am Lamb. As long as Cooper can stay healthy.
I think Cooper's going to have a very good year too, though.
Yeah. My favorite Cooper Cup, as they always call him.
Love Cooper Cup this year too.
Yeah,
right with you.
I'm a fan of Cooper Cup. I'm trying to look on the back end here, man. Some players that that could make a break.
You mentioned Tyler Lockett already. That's another guy that, if healthy, I mean, listen, Seattle throws the football. Tyler Lockett's going to catch footballs.
Mr. Reliable all day.
Yeah.
Mr. Reliable all day. You know what I mean? And he just scores touchdowns for as small as he is.
It's always like a weird throw, and you're like, did Russ make that throw? Corner and like back of the end zone. He's keeping his feet in. You're like, oh, there's fucking Tyler Lockett. Guy that probably Eagles could have drafted at some point, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure. Big
DK, we definitely could have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We all know that.
We wanted Arcega Whiteside, though,
Yeah.
Didn't want this dude running around like the fucking Terminator. We don't want him. I don't want that guy.
Did JJ make the team? Is JJ going to make the team?
Yeah.
He's probably he's going to.
I think he's going to make it.
Off the one catch and run, he makes the team.
I do think.
Yeah, because Fulgham just I don't know what happened to Fulgham. Yeah, either he's just not that good or whatever it may be. But
for Fulgham. That's what it is.
What happened
to
Fulgham is that's why he didn't play in a major school anywhere. It's because this is what he is. This is what he is. He's a big guy with a little talent. Guess what? Everyone in the NFL's got a little talent. They see time. They can make some plays. That's why they're in the fucking NFL. But once you get some big talent in there, we got we back-to-back first-round picks. It's gonna be tough to make a team when you're a guy that's not even drafted.
We're always starving for a receiver. Always starving for a receiver.
Oh, of course.
It never ends.
I think Devonta's a good pick, by the way. I know he'll get. We're always talking about the young guys getting drafted too high. He'll get drafted too high around here. People are going to be, Devonta Smith. They're going to take him too high. So I wouldn't, technically look for him in your fantasy draft because I think he's going to go too high. But he's a guy that could. I think next year is probably the biggest. It will be the big jump for him. I always like the sophomore year for the receivers, but he'll have a solid year, I think. And if you're in a keeper league, it's a good keeper pick.
How about this one? Oldie but Goldie. Where you guys got Julio? Out in Tennessee.
Ooh. Yeah, to me, AJ Brown is the better receiver on the team, but I think Julio's he'll get balls. He's still gonna make plays.
Yeah.
You think Brown is better than Julio at this point?
Yes.
At this point in Julio's career, yeah. But having AJ Brown, I think, is going to help Julio tremendously.
I think it's really tough when a guy, like right now, Julio Jones. I think if he retired, he'd be a Hall of Famer. I'd say right now. Right, strictly off his Atlanta career alone, I think he's a Hall of Famer. It's usually really tough for those guys when they change teams to then go and be really good on the second team. I feel like it doesn't work a lot. Now, it worked for Moss when he went to New England, but didn't work in Oakland. T.O., I mean, I guess you could say it worked places for T.O., but he left before he was this old, I don't know. I feel like Andre Johnson, it didn't work for. I don't know.
Yeah, but Andre
I think it's going to be tough.
Prime.
Yeah, he was older than Julio is now. I know that.
Yeah.
But to me, I can't look at him to be a top 10 guy this year. I think he's more of a 20th to 25th ranked receiver.
It's just crazy because I'm looking at his numbers, right? And I just wanted to pull up the stats because I wasn't sure. But this is the first time he's been under 1,000 yards since 2013. So that's a long stretch of putting up numbers. So he hasn't. I mean, in 2019, 99 catches, 1,300 yards, and 6 touches.
Yeah, the touches have been hurting him for years. He hasn't been scoring touchdowns for years, but he's been catching balls forever.
So it's just like, is he really that? Is it just been a year out, right? It's just last year, right? Is he really that far out of past his prime? But he's been in the league he's going on 10 years. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, 1, 2, I just think that they're going to throw the ball to Brown more.
Yeah,
like maybe his opportunities aren't going to be as high. Kind of like the same thing last year. That's why his numbers looked down last year, but it's because Ridley kind of emerged above him and got more targets. So that's like what you got to look at really.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's finish off with tight ends. I wasn't going to do tight ends, but while we're doing the plays, defense and flex, I can give or take. People don't really do too much, even though defense I think is important, can win you some games. But let's go right to tight ends.
Real quick, what's the other receiver's name on the Colts? I know you were bringing up Pittman, Jake. What's that other dude's name? I always forget his fucking
Pittman.
name.
Paris Campbell?
No, he's talking about T.Y.
No, not T.Y. I think T.Y. There's a guy past his prime. Do not draft T.Y. Hilton.
Do not draft T.Y.
Do not draft T.Y. Hilton. Who's the other guy on their team?
And by the way,
not Paris Campbell.
T.Y.'s already hurt. T.Y.'s already hurt.
So,
is he really?
Hurt.
Yep. He's going to miss a couple weeks. And they also, while we were on, they lost their left tackle, Sam Tev.
Wow.
Yeah, they lost their left tackle. So Carson Wentz seems to be screwed again.
You have the Colts receiving core there. Read it off to me.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch. So
What's
we got
T.Y. There's a guy on their team I like. I think he's poised to have a really good year.
Stretchan.
And I can't think of his fucking name.
Harris, Nelson, Vaughns, and Potman.
Tarek Black, J.J. Nelson?
No, not J.J. Nelson.
No.
Oh, Pascal. You're talking about Pascal.
Zach Pascal. Yeah. That's who I like.
Oh, okay.
I think Zach Pascal is a good pick this year in fantasy. Now, he's going to be late. You can take him late. But I like him.
Yeah, he had a pretty good year last year.
Yeah, not bad at all. Very under the radar year.
Yeah, he had a pretty good year last year. And they had no quarterback either.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
And they,
Phillip was throwing from his shoulder.
Yeah, giving what you feel on Wentz, they might not have a quarterback again this year.
I think, yeah. I mean, if healthy, I still think Carson can sling the ball around, but
for sure.
Carson's never healthy, so.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Tight ends. Before we shut it down,
I'll tell you what, tight ends this is one of the biggest positions in fantasy because of, I think the top 3 or 4 are just miles ahead of everyone else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just top 2 for me. Like
just
I'm looking,
top 2?
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers, man. I really am, and obviously, what's his name from San Fran?
Well, he was banged up last year.
Yeah,
right?
he was banged up, but what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Greg Kittle. George Kittle.
Yeah, Kittle. Yeah. So for me, Kittle was out last year, and it's really just Kelsey.
Travis Kelce's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just 60 points ahead of anybody else. And then there's everybody else. But then you got Waller.
I do like Waller a lot. I would put him in there. That's what I was thinking.
Waller.
But then Waller's by himself, too. Waller's 100 points from the third guy. The third guy in scoring last year. So I'll give you it real quick. Because like you said, tight end is really important. You can get some value here.
And he's going.
So Kelsey, Waller, then Thomas, then Robert Tonyan from Green Bay.
Yeah.
Hoskins from Detroit, Andrews, who I believe is hurt, from Baltimore, second in Miami, Noah Fant, Gronk, believe it or not, and Hayden Hurst. Round out your top 10.
Weird year for tight ends.
Yeah, big names behind that in the top 15. Urban, he's in Pittsburgh, I think still. Evan Ingram, Jimmy Graham, Hunter Henry, and I actually like Dallas's tight end Schultz.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's a good value pick. I like him more than the other guys you just named right there. Evan Ingram's a fucking bum. Been a bum. He was so overrated ever since he was drafted. I think Jimmy Graham's done. Don't even think about drafting Jimmy Graham. He's done.
for sure.
And Hayden Hurst is just you can't trust anything Hayden Hurst does. And at this point, I think that the kid is a way better player. Pitts,
the top
Pitts,
Pitts,
top
yeah.
Pitts, yeah.
Yeah.
I like him. But like you said, I like George Kittle, and if George Kittle's healthy, he's going to make plays. But yeah,
For sure.
those three. I mean, between Kelsey, Kittle, and Waller, whew, like you said, there's such a drop. So if you're drafting, you can't get them free. You might as well not take a tight end forever.
Right, and you can argue Kelsey can go in the second round.
Yeah. I mean, he could be. He's like a wide receiver one, basically.
Yeah. I completely agree. So before we get out of here again, who's somebody you're looking at the tight end? Obviously out of those, the top tier, who's some late tight ends that you like?
I like Pitts.
Yep.
I like Gesicki. I know there's a lot of talk about Deshaun going to Miami. I'll tell you what, if Deshaun Watson actually goes to Miami, that to me that pumps up Devontae Parker, that pumps up Mike Gesicki. Now I know he'll probably gonna get some sort of suspension, but the end of the year is what you want to win anyway. So I think that would pump those guys up a little bit, obviously. Who's the starting tight end in Seattle? I always think that Seattle tight ends have an opportunity to be good, but they never are for some reason, because they always have like Luke Wilson, fucking my cousin Luke out there who stinks. I don't know. So like if they can get a tight end in there, I feel like that's a good spot for a tight end.
Who was their tight end this year?
It was Luke Wilson for a while.
Yeah, it was, right?
But, yeah. But wasn't it? It was the dude. I don't know if he's still playing. Wasn't it the dude from Carolina? Olsen. Was it Olsen last year? He got hurt.
It could have been. Yeah, he's old.
It was Olsen.
If he's back and healthy, he could be a sneaky pick.
He's over.
He's overrated over the hill, but he could catch 10 touchies.
Yeah. Gerald Everett is their starting tight end.
Oh, see,
Gerald
there we go.
Everett.
There we go.
The Rams?
Gerald Everett is the guy that I like.
That's a good
there we
name.
go. Bang. We hit one. Gerald Everett. I like Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett can stretch the field. He's had some big games in the past for the Rams. I like Gerald Everett a little bit.
I do too.
All right, so we got some members here. Got my second draft today. PPR looking to get Cook or Kamara first round.
Absolutely.
Yep. Where you picking, Dave? That'll be key. Where you got?
I would assume that you're picking high.
Yeah, top
if you're
three,
looking to get Coker Kamara.
And I was going to talk about this with tight ends, man. When you think about our tight ends with Ertz and Goddard, obviously depending on what Hurts can do, but we've seen a lot of tight end work and play in the preseason when he's played. We've heard about in practice that he's keen on those guys, which I like. Middle of the field makes sense. Tight ends, outside of a run game for a rookie quarterback, tight ends your next go-to. So where do you have Goddard? I mean, coming into the year, they were top 10. Both of them, I think Goddard was in like 6, and I think Ertz was in the back end, maybe 9. As a ranking, just player, not fantasy, but just player in general and tight ends. Where you guys got those guys, man? Who's going to have the better year, Goddard or Ertz?
I still can't believe that Ertz is still here.
I love the fact that he's here.
So do we. I like him too, because I think he's a guy that's just a pass catcher. He's been a pass catcher his whole life.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like that he's here. I think they. So to me, with both of them healthy, like they're both going to get some production, but you're not going to get the production like that. One of them's a star. If one of them was to get hurt, then the other one could possibly pop up and be a top 10, top 7 tight end in fantasy, easy, top 6 maybe even. But I preferably I would like them to both be healthy as an Eagles fan. So I hope it doesn't happen. But I still think that both of them have a little value, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to me, Ertz would have a little more value just because I trust him more.
Right. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
And you're getting consistency now that Ertz is healthy. You would hope.
Yeah. I agree with that. Don says the Lions. Oh shit, yeah, Lions fan. The Lions have no receiver. TJ Hoskins would be a good solid. The only problem is I won't know because who's the quarterback from the Rams that's there? What's his name?
Jared Goff.
Yeah, Goff likes the tight end.
Yeah,
He does.
I do like Hawkinson has a lot of talent. I'll give you that. So it could be a breakout year for him. I don't even know who's the Lions' top wide. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Don's a fan. He says they have no receivers. So
yeah. Look at this one. Nice steal here. Hurts fell to the 13th round yesterday in my home league draft. definitely felt like a steal there. I think so too.
Oh, it's absolutely.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
start
I mean, like
him,
we said, he could definitely be a top 10 to 15
Yeah.
quarterback. Easy.
and I said this about Hurts many a times on different shows. You guys on Sunday, myself on Wednesday show, and just even on this show, multiple times. Hurts is in a win-win situation. The bar is so low for him, right? What was the thing? He came out 31st quarterback, ranking out of
something
32,
like
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
We don't expect anything from him. We're already looking at the next guy. We got Minshew coming in. We're trying to trade, to get Watson. He's not going to lose. If he has a bad year, it's what you expect, right? If he has an average year, it's more than you expect. And if he has a great year, it's like, oh, can this guy be the guy? So like he can't. And then and from the conversation we're talking now with fantasy, it doesn't matter if he's on a good team, if the Eagles are good or bad. He's going to put up some numbers.
Yeah. And if they're bad, he might be even better fantasy wise.
Right.
And we probably, I mean, people think we're going to be bad. Our over unders what, 6.5?
6.5.
Vegas? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, people think we're going to be bad. And usually if you're bad, you're throwing the football. So that doesn't hurt him fantasy wise.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, so you boys got any other gems, any little strategies for fantasy? Me and Wilson, we got to get into the lab, man, and get some of these plays out for the members.
Yes, sir.
So I want to make sure that I don't leave anything out before I do a little ending monologue.
I would say if you as a kicker, I just implore this to everyone: take your kicker with your last fucking pick. Okay?
Yeah, please.
Stop taking kickers in like the 13th round. You look like an idiot. Don't do that. Take a kicker with your last pick. I don't care. Like, well, he's the best kicker in the league. Technically, he's the best kicker in the league. I don't give a fuck. Take the kicker with your last pick. All right. There's still value there. There's still value in the 13th round. Okay. Get a guy that's a backup. Handcuff a running back. Maybe if the running back you wanted somebody took, take his handcuff then. Don't take your kicker till your last pick. Please.
That is the strategy of the day. I don't know if I can top anything about that.
No, that's it right there.
Yeah, that is the strategy of the day. We should have changed the show to don't take your kicker with the last pick. Best batting strategy ever heard. You know what I mean? But I just want to add one more thing to it. It's just like find your edge. That's the key thing about betting. That's the key thing about fantasy. Find your edge. If you do a lot of DFS, a lot of daily stuff, don't try to do it against the world. It's hard. It's really hard to win that. Really tough to win that. So I would implore you, go head to head, find your edge to make sure that you're on the winning side. That's what you got to do. Wilson said it best earlier. Find a sucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Find a sucker to win. I can't. I'm about to add you, Wilson.
This StreamYard, man.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it, man. So whether it be fantasy football, classic. I think they got Madden strategies, your dailies, exploit the edge, get in on the winning side, get on the black. For me, I haven't done that many fantasy leagues this year. I think I'm only in maybe 2. So, and I'm going to exploit the guys that I'm playing, man. So I just want to say from MoneyPot Podcast, from Moss Money, my man Wilson, my man Jake, for everybody still on. And if you're not part of the membership group, before I get out of here, man, you guys need to jump on the membership bandwagon, man. We swept the plays last Sunday. If you played it right, you would have had a winning day yesterday. I'm posting my plays. I'm posting my picks so I'm in the game with you. It's not $9.99 a week. It's not $9.99 bi-weekly. It's $9.99 a month. You ain't going to see that nowhere. Tons of new apparel.
You win that back in the one day. Easy.
Yep.
One day.
Easy.
Pay for the year. We've already 4 or 5x what we've already come back. It's just that you want that instant satisfaction. We got new apparel. You see the new MoneyPot shirt showing the A2D colors,
looking
with the black
fresh
show.
too. Looking fresh.
So just hit me up. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on everything else social media. Follow A2D on social media. Let's fucking go. Willie Vegas, Moss Money, the homie Jake, MoneyPot Podcast, A2D Radio, man. We're out of here.
Come on, man.
I ain't down.
Yo, MoneyPot about to start.
No, I'm coming, man.
Yeah, grab your notepad, man, for real.
Alright, dog, fuck it, man. Come on.
Yeah, man, they be spitting shit, man.
True.
Yeah.
Side die, never go.
Money pop, money talk. All they do is talk facts. Bird gang. All they do is talk stacks. 360 on the new view. Go run, tell that. 40-yard dash time. Moss Money Podcast time. S.co headline.